Good morning students of class 10. Today we are going to discuss about that how Britishers also helped in bringing nationalism. Yes. Then we will discuss about some of the political associations, organizations which also helped in bringing nationalism in India. Okay. So in the last video we discussed about some of the Europeans like Max Muller, William Jones, Charles Wilkins. They helped Indians in bringing the feeling of pride in our ancient culture. How? Just take the example of Charles Wilkins. He actually translated Bhagavad Gita, which was written in Sanskrit, and he translated it into English. Yes. So by this example we can just understand that the European also tried to know the culture, the teachings, the philosophies of the Indians. Yes. And after just reading those things, after knowing those things, they also thought that actually the past of India was a glorious one. Yes, and they had sympathy towards us. Okay, and that's why they also started just reviving our Indian culture, we can say. They also presented the Indian culture into different way by just reading those things, we can say. Yes. William Jones, he established Asiatic Society of Bengal. Yes. So by these examples we can just understand that the Europeans also tried to help Indians to bring nationalism in India. Yes. So these were the contributions of Europeans. Apart from that, we can say that British actually brought political unity in India. What is political unity? It means that when there is just one ruler, when there is just one centralized government, and who is running the government of the whole territory. Yes, the centralized government that is running the administration of the whole country. So in this way we can say Britishers, though they were considered bad for India, okay, but they brought actually the political unity in India. In ancient time also the rulers like Chandragupta, Maurya, Ashoka, they also built a large empire in Indian territory. Yes, and they also proved that we Indians are able to rule ourselves. Yes, and that's why actually the ancient culture was revived, and it was told to the Indians that okay, the Indians had the capability to rule themselves. Okay, and folklore and folk tales were just collected and recorded to just restore our past. Okay, the deeds, the heroism that we did in our past. Okay, so in this way, some of the Indian rulers, they had proved this, but in modern period, the Britishers, when they took over India and they just established here politically, and slowly they just implemented many policies. Yes, and in this way they just occupied the whole territory of India. So in this way the British actually brought political unity in India, we can say. Now the people's loyalty to their province declined. Now they were not looking themselves as the part of just one region. Okay, now they are considering that the whole territory, the whole provinces, the different parts of India are just the one. So in this way we can say that by this political unity actually Britishers brought the feeling of oneness, the feeling of nationalism in India. Yes. Next, Western education. We all know that the Britishers introduced Western education, and we all know the goodness, the positive sides of Western education. We have discussed it in earlier classes. Yes. But the real motive of the Britishers to introduce Western education in India was that to just prepare some of the educated Indians to help in their administrative works to the lower posts. Actually, they did not want to spread awareness, to spread education among the masses. Okay, because the medium was English. Yes, so only few Indians who were actually rich, who were actually belong to upper classes. So the masses were not taught by the implementation of education, Western education. The few Indians were taught just to look after the administration of the Britishers. But what happened when they got the education? The Indian educated youths, they became familiar with the idea of liberty, equality, fraternity, nationalism. Yes, and at that time in Europe, in France, in America, in England, the rights and democracy, building of nations, such kind of events were just going on. Okay, so when these people, when Indians became educated, they just got inspired by those events. Okay, so here we can say Britishers just did these things. They established rule over whole India, but ultimately it brought nationalism in India. They implemented Western education for their self-interest, but it just brought awareness among the educated Indians, and further they became the leader of our national struggle. Yes, and hence we can say that these were the contributions actually by the Britishers, though they did not want to bring nationalism in India, but what they did, their impact went positively on the Indian side. Yes, we can say, and in this way just they helped in bringing nationalism in India. Yes. One important thing also happened that in some of the wars, the European countries like Russia and Italy, they were defeated in the war of Abyssinian, okay, by the hand of Japanese. Yes, and in the Boer War, Indians also realized that the Europeans can be defeated. Yes, it is not that we Asian countries have no guts, have no capability to just defeat them. So when some of these European countries got defeated in some of these wars that we have discussed, it revealed that they are not just made to rule forever. Okay, they can also be defeated, and after that we became realized, and we started just thinking that we can also do this. Yes, so some of the things happened at that time. After this, the very important topic, political organization. It also helped actually in bringing nationalism. We all know that what is political organization. Any organization actually it becomes stronger because it has actually a mass following. Okay, many numbers of people just became members of any organization, and when you have the support of many people, you become stronger. Okay, so in this way we can think that the formation, the establishment of political associations, organizations actually united the groups, and in this way it became stronger. And thus these political associations actually spreaded the awareness among the masses in different parts of the country against the British rule. And thus we can say that political parties also, organizations also helped in bringing nationalism. Yes, and from 1866 to 1885 there were many political parties formed. Yes, and actually these parties became the precursor to the formation of Indian National Congress. Okay, so what is the meaning of precursor? Actually, by the efforts of these political associations, we realized that there was a need of all India basis of party. Yes, which actually represent the concern of all people. Okay, these political parties were just local in their nature. They were just confined to any particular area. Okay, so all the Indians cannot be united under one umbrella, we can say. Yes, so when these political parties were formed, they did great job. Yes, and they just showed the path, they just ignited, they just, we can say, actually prepared the platform for coming of an all India party, that was Congress. Yes, so that's why we call these associations, political associations, precursor to the Indian National Congress. Yes, so let's discuss the first one, the East India Association. The East India Association in 1866 in London, it was formed by Dadabhai Naoroji. So it is very important who established Dadabhai Naoroji, and why this party was formed. This was formed to just inform the British Parliament about the Indians' grievances. Yes, what the Indians were, what the Indians wanted to say, what the problems they were facing. Yes, which kind of rules they did not want, which acts were against the Indians. Such kind of things they just wanted to brought into knowledge of British Parliament. Okay, so that's why it was founded in London. Okay, and by this we can say in 1866 Dadabhai Naoroji just put forwarded the grievances of Indians. Okay, and it also addressed in the British Parliament against the repressive laws like Vernacular Press Act, we can say the Arms Act. Yes, and the other problems were also just kept in front of the British government. Yes, and it became popular very soon. It had opened its branches at Bombay, Calcutta and Madras, the three important provinces of that time. Yes, next, Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. Yes, it was also formed in 1870. Yes, by Justice Ranade. Okay, so Justice Ranade formed Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. This party actually Ranade actually said to use khadi and to boycott the foreign clothes, the foreign goods. Okay, so in this way he just gave the message of we can do the things by ourselves. We cannot be dependent upon the others. Okay, and if we boycott the foreign goods, if we will use our own made cloths of khadi, definitely it will bring the prosperity in our country. Not a single paisa penny will go outside of India, and in this way our craftsmen, artisans will be prosper. Okay, and by this we can be made self-dependent. Yes, and when it will be done in economy, then we can also learn that in polity also we can learn that we have the power to rule ourselves. Yes, so this kind of just things were done by Na Sarvajanik Sabha. Next, the Indian Association. It is very important. The Indian Association in 1876, it was formed by Surendranath Banerjee, the first ICS. Okay, we have discussed it, and this was just founded in Calcutta. Okay, and this was the first association, political party, which actually brought Hindus and Muslims together. Yes, this also brought brotherhoodness among the Indians. Yes, and it also opposed the repressive acts like Vernacular Press Act and Arms Act. Yes, and for better representation of Indians in Indian service examination. So it also just said about the grievances of the people, and it just brought the Indians together, as we discussed, Hindus and Muslims. It worked for the unity for these two religious communities. Yes, and this organization also started a daily newspaper called the Bengali. Okay, and it had 44 branches across the country. Yes, so very soon it opened 44 branches across the country. So the effort of Surendranath Banerjee was great at that time. Though these all political associations were not national in spirit, there was no any national agenda. They were just local in their demands. Okay, they were just confined to their respective regions. But first time this association aspirated in different parts, and this actually prepared the platform for the coming of an all India party that was called Indian National Congress. And yes, so Surendranath Banerjee later on he realized that these all associations were just local in nature, so there was just need of such kind of party which could address the problem of the entire country. Yes, which could represent the whole India, which should be the aim, which should be a national goal, national objectives, not the ideologies, the philosophies that were limited to just one particular area. Yes, so we can say that when we started experiment by just forming these political associations, in course of time we got aware that we need an all India party. Yes, so in this way we can say that these were the precursors to the formation of Indian National Congress. Yes, and in the next video we will discuss about how Indian National Congress was formed. Okay, its objectives and its demands we will discuss in the next topic, and in the next topic our the second chapter will be finished. So till then, goodbye, thank you.